Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 11 of season 2 of our NASCAR 25 career mode. Yes, we return this weekend here to the home of NASCAR out at Charlotte Motor Speedway, of course. If you missed out on the video that went live a couple of days ago, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. Of course, we jumped in, we went back to North Wilkesboro and once again, it was a very, very entertaining race. But we've got some big news as we come to this one, or at least something big that we need to do, and that is spend a fair bit of cash money inside the game. We are still leading the championship though at the moment. You can see there 4 wins to Corey Himes 3, but Lane Riggs though with a bit of momentum behind him now, 2 wins back to back there for the number 34 driver. So yeah, he's building up some momentum just ahead of Jack Wood. You can see Chandler Smith there as well, running very, very well, but obviously even if we hadn't won any of those races so far, just the amount of points we'd scored this season would currently put us in playoffs contention anyway, so things are looking pretty good at this stage of the campaign. Of course, if you're new, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed to the channel. We are trying to get to 3k subs as well. I'm going to continue playing this game on PlayStation for now. I know it has obviously now fully released for PC, but I'm kind of just still enjoying this career mode and going through it, of course, inside the game. But I will be picking up a PC version as well, obviously to do like videos with Gary and stuff like that down the line. We've got a couple of series plans, so make sure you keep an eye out for those in the not too distant future. But if we take a look then and the office, can we hire any new staff at the moment? There's still no candidates available, so we're kind of doing everything that we possibly can. But if you take a look then at our current truck, I don't believe we've basically got any more repairs that we can do to this current truck. I think if I just head in there quickly, I think we've either got, yeah, there's a couple of spanners on a couple of the parts, but what we're going to do instead is spend well, not all of our money, but a load of our money to try and make sure that we have now got level 5 parts on both this and the other truck, of course, inside the game. Because it has meant more recently that kind of every other weekend we struggle a bit more. So I'm hoping this is going to give us a bit of a better fighting chance. So we're going to spend pretty much, I think that's going to be about $100,000 all in, isn't it? Just over. So there we go. We should now have 2 trucks that are 560 performance rating inside the game. I'm going to continue stacking some cash though, so we can obviously use some level 6 parts when we get to the playoffs. But ultimately at the moment, I just want to be a bit more competitive week in and week out. Here we go then. So Kate has come to us. A small independent radio station is thinking of adding a racing segment to their sports show and would love to have you on as a regular guest. On the other hand, you may want to sit in a few of the mechanics meetings. I think we need the mechanics meetings at the moment. Try to be a regular radio show host, I don't think is going to be up our alley at the moment. So obviously you need to do some repairs obviously to the other truck as well, but I don't believe there's a lot we can do now because a lot of those parts now are looking pretty worn out. So I'll try and get everything sorted as best as I can. We have got a lot of work points as well at the moment, so things are looking pretty good inside this series. We're at a pretty good spot at this stage of the campaign as well, especially if I don't press the right buttons. But yeah, I think we're ready to take on Charlotte though this weekend, so I'm going to see you guys out on the track. Well, heading out then into qualifying here from Charlotte. Looking forward to this one. It's a really, really tricky oval to try and get absolutely nailed. You want to try and carry some speed into the corners. But yeah, it can be very, very difficult to try and get it fully hooked up. Let's see what we can do then. So try and roll on the power out onto the backstretch there. Making sure that I'm still kind of taking the pit lane entrances and exits fairly sensibly as well. But obviously want to try and just set ourselves up ready for this first run. So running up high against the wall before trying to cut down to about the middle lane there to get the throttle down as early as possible, but carry as much speed up over the start-finish line. I believe we've only got 1 lap here to try and make sure that we get a good run in. As we make our way then down in towards turn 1, big blend, whack on the steering lock, and then try to carry the speed right up against the wall as well. You've got to be so careful of the understeer though. Otherwise, it will punish you. 1 and 2 are pretty easy. It's 3 and 4 that I really do struggle with a lot more around here. So, gonna try and really cut down low there. You can just hear us hesitating on the throttle a little bit as we try and carry the speed off of the corner. Looking to be down towards the 31-second lap time, 32.1. P17, not great in the end. Definitely there was a little bit more there. I could have been a bit braver through 3 and 4. But Lane Riggs, yet again, on the pole then. 0.003 of a second faster than Corey Heim. Will we ever see Kyle Busch win a race this season? Only time will tell, just ahead of Chandler Smith and Tyler Ankrum. But yeah, once again though, we've qualified mid-pack, so hopefully all will come good on race day.
Get on your feet. It's time to go NASCAR Truck Series racing as we go trackside on the most famous words in all of motorsports. Drivers, start your engine!
Well, here we are then at nightfall out at Charlotte, ready to go green flag racing for some Friday night trucks then. And it is boogity, 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 boys. Let's go racing. As we cross the start-finish line there, 15 laps then for stage 1. And as per normal, it is more about just trying to settle into a rhythm and everything like that through that first stage there. 0-0. Immediately tries to have a look around my outside in that 17 truck. But of course, yeah, this is one of those ovals as well. You know, where everybody can kind of stick in the draft, so it can be quite difficult to get away, but breakaways can happen as well. You know, if someone's looked after their tyres, obviously if you've got some split strategies, things like that as well, can still have a bit of a difference there. As we cross the stripe then to finish off that first lap, only losing the 1 spot to Tanner Gray. By my standards inside this game, that's pretty good going, as immediately we're going to try and gather that spot back up anyway. I don't know whether you guys find it as well, but I definitely seem to find that the AI are much, much stronger in qualifying than they are in race trim there. Really able to get laps nailed. There you go, immediately trying to have a look past Craftsman. Oh, and Kligerman! Oh, I definitely used up more of the road there than I was planning to. Apologies, Parker. That 75 truck kind of spotted I was coming in a bit too hot and decided to back out of it rather wisely. Normally the goal then in stage 1 is just try and see if we can get towards the top 10, or maybe even in the top 10. It's immediately trying to swap past Stuart Friesen. By the time we get through 1 and 2, I definitely feel like I'm starting to get better at appreciating what the truck's kind of doing underneath me when it's starting to understeer out towards the outside wall, or sometimes, of course, when it is going to grip up a little bit higher up the circuit. Yeah, 1 and 2, you do really want to try and hang it nice and down low. 3 and 4... does kind of feel like you want to be a little bit closer to the wall. There is a new livery on Connor Mosak's car, new scheme. So why can't we go the long way around the outside through turn 1? This would be brave stuff early on in the night, but we've got to try and build up confidence. Just not enough grip up there at the moment, but we will cut down low. I think we actually gave the 81 a bit of a push there, so not quite able to do what I wanted to, but to the inside. Oh, again, a bit like Kligerman earlier on. We will kind of door him through 3 and 4 there. Really am trying to keep it a bit cleaner, you know, not just using everybody up as much as we once were. You can just see there 10 laps to go already then of stage 1. Raja Karuth in that 71 truck. I think the AI just kind of nudging the brake into the corners. I'm trying to avoid doing that, carry a little bit more speed in. I don't know which one will be better on tyres though. They're kind of obviously taking a bit out of them on the brakes, but I'm probably taking a bit more out of them through the corners, just by really trying to use the track. Go nice run back in towards turn 1 as we cross half distance of this first stage to the inside of Jake Garcia. We will go then, and Ben Rhodes, the only truck now between us and a top 10 running order. But Kyle Busch though up to the front now, so a couple of power moves made by Rowdy. So, you know, I said heading into this race, are we finally going to see Kyle Busch lock himself into that playoffs? He is still there, I believe, on championship points, isn't he? But, you know, a win for him now would be huge. I think anybody that wins in these next few races will, of course, guarantee themselves a spot in the playoffs come the end of the year. It's just a shame for a lot of people that Talladega isn't in these next few races before the playoffs begin. The inside of Ben Rhodes, Jake Garcia there gave us a big old push. Oh, sorry, Ben Rhodes, again, just running up the track a little bit more than I really wanted to. Are we going to make this move happen by the time we get back in towards turn 1? Tyre wear is quite high here. I think we will opt for tyres at the end of the stage, but honestly now, if I can finish in 10th, I'll be quite happy. White flag in the air then towards the end of stage 1, and I can already hear Mike Joy up in the booth talking about Kyle Busch. Obviously leading the way here, and I think he's actually built up a decent gap as well over Corey Heim and Lane Riggs as well. Maybe I'm just not counting the dots on the minimap correctly, but I'm pretty certain he's got a good kind of 3-second advantage over anybody else here. But yeah, tyres though, I mean, we're down to 50% wear after just 15 laps, so stage 3 is going to be brutal a bit later on in the night there. But through the final corner, P10 by the end of stage 1 though, very, very happy with that. But no doubt in my mind that we need fresh tyres and obviously a little top-up of fuel. So yeah, there we go, one stage point as well. Happy days then. Let's wait and see. So everybody is pitting, rather unsurprisingly. So we're going to take... Do we want full fuel? I don't think I really want any... Oh no, we may as well take fuel, because of course that means we need less fuel come the end of the race as well, but no damage or anything like that. So let's wait and see then, kind of where we're going to be out ready for stage 2. I think everybody's going to be doing the same thing, but I have jumped Caden Honeycutt then, so happy days. I'm sure he'll jump me immediately though off the restart. So let's get ready to go green flag racing once again. There we go, immediately cycle up into second gear. But I've got to try and defend that inside line as well. I was hoping that maybe Ben Rhodes would give me a bit of a push back in towards turn 1, but apparently he's got no interest in that. There goes Jake Garcia, clean around the outside as well then. So once more, really struggling off that restart there. And will we see Rowdy Bush able just to get away from everybody once again? I don't believe anybody got lapped on stage 1, or if they did, it must have been only just... but, oh, no, sorry, Garcia. Nope, he's backed out of it rather wisely. We will graze him against the wall. That'll allow Ben Rhodes there in that 99 truck to get back down the inside. And by the end, then, of opening lap, we've lost 2 spots here. So everybody getting a bit aggressive behind me. Really wants to try and have a look for those moves. So we send it through 1 and 2 there. Raja Karuth getting a nice run off the corner. Make sure that I don't get turned off his nose. But yeah, this is going to be really, really tricky there. It's kind of as the stage goes on, really when you kind of see the confidence of certain drivers and certain trucks. Hence why Kyle Busch was able to get away. But Corey Heim now giving him a run for his money as we cross the strip for the second time of stage 2. There is Heim going to be able to make that move for the lead of the race. Only time will tell. As all diving to the inside of Ben Rhodes there through 1 and 2. Whoa, again, a little bit of contact there as he's not happy with me. And I don't blame him there. Maybe using him all up a little bit more once again than I probably should be. As Heim, though, a power move around the outside for the lead of the race by the time we get into 3 and 4. As we are just all over the show. Raja Karuth then, we never really saw this pace from him through stage 1. But he's really been giving us some good pushes to bring us back to Caden Honeycutt and the rest of this group. I think just your top 3, maybe top 4. Just got a little bit more speed over everybody else tonight. But yeah, what is Karuth's pace looking like just behind us? Still looking very, very good. But yeah, Caden Honeycutt, though, not going to be an easy one to try and navigate there. I think we were a tiny bit quicker than him by the end of stage 1. But maybe that was just him dealing with more dirty air or something like that. So you've really got to scrub off more and more speed there. You can see how much lock we're having to run through 1 and 2, of course. This game is still mainly designed for controller, hence why you can get away with so much steering lock on a wheel as well. Because obviously it's only, it's only when you're at a full kind of 180 degrees that is kind of the same as 90 on a controller, obviously to one side or the other. But yeah, up then into P9 once again. So we're back to where we started in stage 2. 2 laps to go then of stage 2. And well, we've just been enjoying watching Grant Enfinger and Daniel Hemrick battle it out with each other. But I don't think we're quite going to get close enough to the number 9 truck there. The 19, the 9 and the 94 are all basically neck and neck at this stage. But yeah, it looks like Corey Heim, though, stage 2 is going to go the way of one of the most dominant drivers still so far this season. So it is going to be a toss-up between him and Kyle Busch by the time we get through stage 3 there. But once again, tyres looking pretty beaten up by the end of stage 2. So it is going to be really, really tricky in that final stage. Wouldn't surprise me if we are seeing a pit stop. I would assume stage 3 is like 37 laps, if I had to guess. But obviously we'll find out in just a moment, won't we? So maybe we won't even be able to do it on fuel mileage either. But just trying to keep ourselves clean and tidy. Just trying to avoid kind of making any stupid errors myself. Out of the final corner. It is going to be P9 in stage 2. One better than we did in stage 1. And this is all reassuring. As long as we're there week in, week out. That is obviously what I'm really invested in. Is 38 laps then for that final stage. Yeah, we're going to have to take fuel and tyres then ready for that final one. So that's going to be a really, really tough gamble. But let's just wait and see as to where we're going to be restarting then. I'll be quite happy restarting in P9 still. And that is exactly where we're at. So we basically need to do 2 stints of what we've already done. Just extend it a little bit longer. So fuel mileage, of course, cautions might come into it as well. Yeah, definitely. If you short shift up through third, it means the AI can't start better than you. That is so hilariously stupid inside this game there. Or still, Honeycutt maybe just getting a slightly better launch off the restart. But Kyle Busch knows if he wants to beat Heim, he's probably got to try and get past him as soon as he possibly can. And let's see how aggressive some of the other trucks a little bit further back are going to be towards the end of this race there. Is that Lane Riggs making it 3 wide for the lead? Only temporarily. Not quite able to stay there. As again, Honeycutt, just like we've done every single stint so far, we run up wide, up towards that wall through 3 and 4 on the opener. But now we're actually going to be able to get a bit of a run on Enfinger by the time we get in towards turn 1. So, yeah, that weird kind of upshift trick kind of gives us a better fighting chance to move past others there, as Lane Riggs still trying to have a look past Corey Heim down the backstretch there, as Kyle Busch did not have the restart he would have wanted. And has kind of had to drop back into 3rd spot there. Is just having to blend out as we got right towards the wall. But Majeski trying to think about making it 3 wide just up in front as well, as we are still giving Enfinger a big old squeeze there on our inside. So we will try and just give him nowhere to move up the racetrack alongside us and try and carry the speed off of the corner. Once again, it's so tricky, especially when the speeds are so high here at Charlotte, to be precise with it, to get the truck where we need to. That time around, though, able to get all the way around the outside of Grant Enfinger, and that is reassuring. It hasn't been the most action-packed race so far tonight, but strategy towards the end, I'm sure, is going to make things very, very spicy. Do you try and go a bit longer and pray that, obviously, you save a bit of time in the pits, or do you try and go a bit shorter, pray that you've got the tyres at the end of the race, but just look after yourself, or do we wait and see if we get a caution, as immediately Chandler Smith there just in front, looking very, very squirrely on the exit of 2, out onto the backstretch. So not quite able to get it where I need it yet again. Luckily, we've got a bit of breathing room behind. Oh, no. Just there, skim the wall and then accidentally door Grant Enfinger by the time we make our way out onto the backstretch, but yeah, seems like our battle is going to be with that number 9 truck throughout a lot of the night here. I think my plan of attack for strategy, though, is just going to be split it. Split it straight down the middle. I don't think there's any point trying to stretch out the first stint, much longer or anything like that. Things have been pretty clean and tidy tonight. I guess the only interesting bit, of course, will be some lap traffic that obviously no one has really dealt with so far. So how will that kind of affect things towards the end? But yeah, basically halfway through this stint so far, 72% tyres. You don't want to take them much below 50, and if I split it half and half, we shouldn't need to. Really has felt like a patience game so far. You can see why. Obviously, the 600 that they run here, in NASCAR is such a testament to the driver's skill. You've just got to be pounding out lap after lap after lap without making errors, and just waiting for opportunities to come your way there. So you've just been following Grant Enfinger for the last few. But looks like now we should maybe get the move done. So you can still see just up in front, I believe that's Hemrick. Yeah, there we go, Hemrick. And Majeski there is talking about trying to be consistent. Just running down below the apron ever so slightly, and that'll unsettle the car, or the truck even, just a little bit as well. But I think my plan actually is going to be try and pit just as I catch up to some of the lapped cars. So hopefully we have to deal with less of those. I'm just a little bit worried, obviously, if everybody else extends way longer, if we end up with a caution. But, of course, on the other hand, if we don't, then we'll have gained a huge undercut. The point is you don't really know who's going to benefit until it kind of happens. Well, I think a caution now then would pretty much work out perfectly for everybody, as we have closed in on our first lapped car of Caleb Costner. So, yeah, often usually a back marker inside this series, isn't he, to his credit, but shows up pretty much every week. And I'm sure we'll be hoping for a bigger result at some point down the line. But yeah, this is going to be the lap then that we are going to request a pit stop. Because hopefully Stephen Malozzi won't get in the way either, back down in towards 1 and turn 2. Horrible thing is, of course, as soon as you think you're closing in on someone, And then it turns out to obviously just be a lapped car as well. I thought just for a brief moment that might have been Hemrick. But going to make sure this time round then that I actually obviously do the pit stop on a straight. Otherwise I'm going to end up in trouble obviously when I get span out through the corners. So we're going to dive into the pit lane then at the end of this lap. Let's wait and see if anybody else is going to. That was not good. It's a horrible, horrible pit lane here. But yeah, we are going to be one of the first trucks then into the pit lane. I don't know what the pit lane speed limit was, but I think we got it slowed down enough. So I'm praying that we don't get a caution at this stage of the race, because it is not that often that we do green flag pit stops inside this game. What was that random purple mark in someone's box? That was very odd. There's just here a random purple box a bit further down the pit lane there, but luckily we have got the front stalls, so as the team hurry to try and get 4 new tyres on the wagon. I would assume everybody's got to be taking 4 tyres, haven't they? For an oval, it's pretty evenly split, the wear around here, but obviously enough fuel as well to get us to the checkered flag. But obviously, yeah, we're going to be out right at the rear of the pack then, so this is going to be brutal then at this stage of the night. Obviously, we've got to really hope that we don't get a caution for at least a few more, as Caleb Costner apparently 2 laps down then in this race, so he must have just about gone a lap down in both of the previous stages, or must have lost a lap in one of the stages if a couple of trucks got lapped there. But now we should be super, super quick against everybody. So obviously the longer they stay out, the more beneficial this is going to be for us, because of course effectively it'll mean we're getting a huge undercut on them. But of course, like I said, obviously one caution can immediately upset all of that. I don't believe anybody can make it on fuel. So Stephen Malozzi then immediately the first one that we're going to try and jump. There we go. This is what I like. Well, in NASCAR 25, and you kind of get these green flag cautions that can really spice up a race as well. But of course, it does mean, you know, some of the guys that we would normally be battling with, your Stuart Friesens, people like that. Sure, he's not too happy about lap traffic there, trying to get back around him. But, oh no, we're completely in our right to as Friesen turns me. What on earth is that from Stuart Friesen? Are we able to hold on to it? I think we just about are. That's probably better. I mean, that's definitely better than getting a caution, isn't it, at this time? But Stuart Friesen, you guys saw that, just completely tried to turn me on the front stretch. We got a tiny bit of rear damage, but that save has probably just saved our entire race, as nobody else still opting to pit. They're going to have to at some point. This time around, then, we've got to try and make sure that we get around Friesen nice and clean. I mean, part of me wants to wreck him, but I know it'll only screw myself over. And that is not what we need at this stage of the day. Is finally, I've got a couple of cars, or a couple of trucks, sorry, diving into the pit lane. Going to be much, much easier when we move up to XFINITY and their cars again. just obviously my turn of phrase that I'm so used to saying kind of gets a little bit scuppered in this Craftsman truck series. But yeah, you can see though, I mean, once we're back up on the lead lap, obviously I can breathe a bit of a sigh of relief, but a few more trucks then into the pit lane there, as Matt Gould taking over from Ben Curry in that 44 truck this weekend. But Corey Himes still out there, so could tyre strategy be a way that Kyle Busch can maybe bring himself into the fight for the win? I mean, dare I allow ourselves to believe that we can be pretty competitive here? Only time will tell. So obviously we're going to jump a load more trucks then as they head back out onto the circuit. As there goes Enfinger and Honeycutt, so we've definitely gained that against them. Who's this just in front? That is Cody Dennison. Of course, we're already laps up then as Rajah Caruth still not diving into the pit lane. I mean, look at the speed we're able to get on him. A huge run down the backstretch. But yeah, more and more trucks, though, into the pit lane. Norm Benning, P21 for Norm. He'll have a nosebleed running that high at this stage of the race. It must be like Brad Smith winning that, obviously, season opener in ARCA back at Daytona as well. But who is that then? We're behind Tony Breidinger. This is not good at the moment, as I believe that is Frankie Muniz making his way out of the pit lane. But we are a lap up on him. Then into the pit lane, Jack Wood there. Another one we're going to jump past. Parker Kligerman as well. Another one as Rajah Caruth also into the pit lane. So here is Hemrick, who of course was one of the drivers that we were having a bit of a battle with earlier on. So we've definitely gained out in all of this. Getting now the jump on the 19 truck. So as Tony Breidinger, I mean, running up in P13, a caution now would be absolutely perfect for her. As Heim into the pit lane then. So Who's going to be out in front then? Is it going to be Corey Heim? Is it going to be somebody else? I don't even really know with a handful of laps to go, but what I do know is Daniel Hemrick. Oh, he's looking way, way quicker than myself then, as William Sawalich. Didn't even know he was in this race. But he's running pretty nicely as well, as I just feel like a lot of the advantage we could have gained, obviously on a lot of these trucks as well, unfortunately we lost out on because Stuart Friesen tried to dump me. So really hoping, yeah, that obviously we're still going to be able to get a decent result. Oh, Spencer Boyd there, huge wash of understeer from the back of him. But more and more trucks then into the pit lane. Where are we going to be? Looks like Kyle Busch then out in front. But less than 10 to go. We are back up to 8th spot. Oh no, Jack Wood, huge wreck just in front of us, and we just might get away from him. And caution is out. Late on in the day, do we pit? I'm a little bit worried that we're going to have worse tyres than everybody else if I don't. So I think we've got to take the gamble here. We're going to take the repairs. We're going to take 4 tyres. Don't really need any fuel, but I think we're going to have to, aren't we? I'm just worried if I don't, we're going to get jumped by everybody. But this is a disaster for Kyle Busch then, who's been dominating so much of this race up to this point. We're going to be back down to P19 as Sawalich gets the free pass. So as long as we get a top 10 finish, I'll be pretty happy with the way things have gone today. So I'm going to try and use the old trick. Up into 3rd gear we will go. And that'll mean, yeah, that basically everybody is crawling off the restart there. There goes Perez Dallara around me outside by the time we get in towards turn 1. But with only 4 laps to go, we're going to have to be super, super brave if we want to try and get anything out of this. Is Kyle Busch going to punch his ticket into the playoffs here tonight? Are we going to see, what's that, our 5th different winner of the campaign so far? Or will Corey Heim basically out of nowhere be able to do anything? Or even Lane Riggs, of course. Back-to-back victories so far this year. Nobody has won 3 truck races in a row so far this campaign. And Kyle Busch at the moment, though, trying to make sure that that tally continues here. 3 laps remaining, and I was just thinking to myself how some late drama would add a bit of spice to this race, but honestly, I was pretty happy running where we were. But I think, yeah, like I said, we were going to be on the back foot if I didn't opt to pit, so we're going to try and be on the front foot late on in the day. Huge draft as we make our way down the backstretch then. Can we have a look to the outside of Craftsman? We'll have to go down the middle of him and Parker Kligerman. As all the 75 there doors me. Clearly not happy with that. I'm getting turned. Oh, we just about all get away with it there, as I don't know why Parker Kligerman decided he'd try and right hook me into the wall. On a Moza though, just in front of us as we're still a little bit all over the road. I just want to recover to where we were, as it looks like Lane Riggs now, a power move to the lead of the race, ahead of Kyle Busch. So once again, it looks like Rowdy is going to be the bridesmaid rather than the bride. He might not even be that, as Corey Heim now has made the move happen. So I think Kyle Busch had obviously opted to pit way earlier than a lot of these other trucks, and that is where it has completely hampered him towards the end of the night. Can we at least get back inside the top 10? We've basically spent the entire night running inside that top 10, and if we can get past Stuart Friesen, we will obviously be back up there, and I'm more than happy after what Friesen did to me earlier on to try and get one back on him there, as making our way down the backstretch. We won't do that tonight. We'll just try and claim the place for ourselves there, as can we carry the speed through 3 and 4, maybe get close enough to Honeycutt. I don't think it's going to happen. P10 in the end here, but Lane Riggs makes it 3 wins in a row. Happy with that. Happy with that. We'll take it. This is one of the AI's, I think, better circuits inside of the game as well. So happy they're able to pick up a decent result there. But Lane Riggs, he will claim victory. 3/10 clear of Corey Heim. Kyle Busch's first win of the year will have to wait another night, just ahead of Tyler Ankrum and Chandler Smith there, with Henrik Majeski, Enfinger, Honeycutt, and myself all inside your top 10. Again, I think that is a perfect example as to why stage racing in NASCAR should probably be gotten rid of, because kind of the green flag strategy makes things fascinating. And having a look then, again, decent reputation picked up, so I think now we're going to be level 5 rep inside the game. I'll have to wait and just confirm when we head back to base as well there. But Lane Riggs, a long road for Riggs at Charlotte. We may not have had the best truck for Charlotte, but thankfully the strategy worked out for us. Racing to team sport, and I'm glad I've got my crew chief and pit crew helping me along the way. Yeah, to be fair to him, I think that's a fairly accurate review of his race tonight. Cody Dennison, once again, Matt Beard, a top 10 is a solid drive. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Brent Cruz as well. Keep up the clean driving and you'll be welcome around here anytime. Connor Mosak, though, it's tough racing against Matt Beard. You know Matt is willing to give you a nudge here and there. Don't think we did anything too egregious to Connor Mosak. Maybe I accidentally pushed him up the road a couple of times. For that, I do apologise. There we go then. New series unlocked inside NASCAR 25. Happy with that to finish off what was a pretty successful weekend there. 10th most points picked up with our 10th place finish as well. So happy, happy days. $22,000 in our back pocket. Starts to recover and recoup some of the cost of obviously all of those new level 5 parts as well. But yeah, we'll have a lot of work to do though before we head out next weekend, of course, out to Nashville Speedway. I'm trying to remember, when is Watkins Glen? I think, is it, so we got Michigan, then we got Pocono. Sorry, it's a Lime Rock, isn't it? It's the first of the circuit road courses this season. But that is still a few races time. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. And I guess we will be back out next week at Nashville, Tennessee.